Hey, welcome back to the off ramp. Good morning. It's Monday morning. Hey guys, thanks for joining me. I am Thomas Jason Anderson. I hope you guys are starting off your week great. It's afternoon, actually. I'm sorry. I'm still in the morning mode. I had to, it was an interesting weekend. I mean, here in the States, for the international viewers, here in the States, we've got a lot going on because of this Iran war and all the other crazy stuff. But in the midst of the crazy, there was, I think, the State Department down at the embassy in Guyana put out a release saying that Secretary Marco Rubio really wants to just find common ground with the leaders in Guyana and other nations in the Caribbean and Central and South America, and just holding out an open hand to everyone in the region. And you know, for, I think there's a silent majority who supports this. Okay, who supports uh, a United States coming with the intention of having a different dynamic between us and the peoples and the cultures and the nations that comprise of the Caribbean and Central and South America. I can't say exactly, what it is that the higher ups or what their true vision is. It's hard to tell. I don't have any access. I haven't had any private conversations. Even if I did, I don't know if you can even talk about that. But I can say from, an observer, not an outside observer. I mean, I've been in the media space here for almost 15 years in this region on this issue. I have a pretty good idea of what this administration is trying to do, and I have a good idea of what Rubio is putting out there, right? And there are a few problems with it. There's some positives or some negatives, but I wanted to do this live, wanted to do this recording so that I could give everyone a pretty good idea of what's really on the table here, what's on the table and what isn't on the table. Um, so let's start here. Okay, let's start with where were we before in the Caribbean, Central and South America, before this Trump administration, before Maduro was taken, before Cuba started to collapse. Where were we before, and where are we now? Right. So before, what we had was the Biden administration, Democrat Party, and they had some things going in the region, but they didn't prioritize the Caribbean and Central and South America. As a matter of fact, the Biden administration took more of an approach of what what everyone has tried to do in the region from the United States, which is just put it on the back burner and allow China and Russia and our partners in the EU and Canada, allow them to do everything. And just as long as, you know, bombs aren't blowing up or everywhere, then we're fine. That was the Biden administration approach to the region. That approach, what it did was, and by the way, it wasn't just him approaching the region this way. Every president prior to him approached the region the exact same way. And so, what that approach created here in the United States, okay, and this is where we were, what it created was a situation where people can call it the deep state, the administrative state, whatever you want to call it, powerful people within the government partnered with powerful people outside of the government, billionaire people, big corporations, and they were the ones running US policy in the region for generations now. It wasn't coming out of any White House. It wasn't coming out of the State Department. No. What the United States has been doing in this region for like 100 years now, for the past 100 years up until this point, has been to outsource the region to everybody else but us. Period. And that outsourcing allowed deep state people like Bob Menendez to act as kings, because what they were able to do is they were able to wield the power of the US government without any of the accountability, without any of the transparency. And so what that led to, for everyone who's in the region there listening right now, total chaos from us. total chaos. The United States, we've been destroying your cultures and your people for like 100 years now in the region because of this dynamic. It wasn't on purpose. People like former Senator Bob Menendez, he thought he was the good guy. He thought it was a good guy because he was saying, "Well, I'm fighting Fidel Castro, so what that means is anything I do is good." And that's essentially what happened, right? A lot of people in the United States here, since there was no real oversight coming from the White House or State Department, since it was just outsourced, and the Chinese and the Russians and these guys could do whatever they wanted to do. Canada, these EU guys, the UK, everyone, they've just been able to do whatever they want. And our White House and our State Departments, we have just ignored the situation. And so guys like Bob Menendez rolled in, and he rolled in with the mafia, with the mob, the Cuban mob. And what happened is everybody started to have in their minds, hey, we're fighting Fidel Castro down there. So while the mob was making money smuggling drugs, gold, whatever you want to call it, right? And there was crime everywhere. There was terrorism in the region. The Castros were having a field day. Don't people wonder, well, how is this guy able to have so much power in the region? Well, because we ignored the place. We let Castro do whatever he wanted to do, and we just outsourced fighting him to a group of bandits like Senator Bob Menendez. And those guys created their own rules. They created their own rules. And so fast forward, so that's what has been happening. Everyone has been thinking, oh, it's the evil US government as a whole that's been, going down into the Caribbean and Central and South America wreaking havoc. No, it hasn't been. It's actually been like deep state people, if you want to call it that, Illuminati people, I don't know. But basically, criminal elements in our government, people abusing their power, right? Partnering with criminal elements and other people who are abusing their power on the outside in the private sector. And they've been running amok in the region now for like 100 years. Okay, that's what everyone's been living through. Now, people will tell you, no, what they were going through was this epic battle between ideologies, where it was the communists versus the capitalists, and the capitalists were all good guys, and the communists were all bad guys, or vice versa. The communists were all good guys, and the capitalists were all bad guys, and it's been this epic battle. That's been the storyline. That's what most people have been experiencing, living through, I guess, in their minds. But that hasn't been the reality. Okay, I'm sorry. The reality has been none of these ideologies have mattered. It's been seriously one big criminal enterprise is what it's been in this region. That's all. Period. It's been a criminal enterprise. There's no religion down here. There is no government, no big business. There's no ideology. There's no political ideology. It's all greed and criminal enterprise. Just letting you guys know. Like, that's the true story of this region. And so fast forward to today with the Trump administration, what are they facing? What they're facing is like 100 years of abuse in this region where the US government allowed dark, powerful individuals, groups, corporations to run amok in the region and to partner with the Russians and the Chinese to run amok. Okay, just cause total chaos, right? That 100 years of that crap that's been going on piled up, and it landed right in Trump's lap. And what did that look like? What it looked like was the Iranians putting together suicide drone factories in Venezuela. What it looked like was regular business people who were very successful being forced by money launderers, drug smugglers, and the lot to use their businesses to launder cash. Like, it's very hard in the region to be a very successful business person without these sketchy elements coming in trying to hijack your business. People know over the years there have been good people who have been disappeared, who have been murdered, And it's always some political reason or whatever, but 9 times out of 10, it's because these people didn't want to allow the dark forces in the region to use them to perpetuate evil. Period. And so that's what landed in Trump's lap. And so he's sitting there, and Trump could perpetuate what's been going on and just say, you know what? I'm just going to outsource this out. Hey, Mike Pompeo, you just go ahead and do whatever you want in Guyana. Whatever you're doing there, just make sure, you do good for yourself in these other places too. And if you destroy the countries, it doesn't matter, bro. Who cares about them? Trump could take that stance. It's easy to do because Obama took that stance. Biden took that stance. Everybody has. Everybody has. But Trump took a different stance. And what he did was he got rid of Maduro. What he did was he got rid of the Iranians in the region. What he's been doing is shutting down the Chinese, shutting down the Russians. The Russians just tried to sell some oil to the Cubans, get that out of here. And so while that's happening, you've got people here in the United States within the deep state. I put Mike Pompeo in that bucket, right? I still don't know why he's in Guyana. I just don't know why. It's upset. It's disturbing to me, actually, because what's he doing there? Seriously. Seriously. Like, what does he know about that place? What's he doing there? And what is the government there doing with him? What's that all about? I don't know. But it rubs me the wrong way because it's like trying to continue what's been happening down there and keep it going forward. So instead of Marco Rubio and the State Department having and the embassy in Guyana having say over what the U.S. policy is, you got Mike Pompeo there getting rid of all that and telling everybody, no, this is what our policy is going to be. That seems to be the role he's playing. And so that's that deep state role, undermining the U.S. government, undermining the president, undermining everybody for their own personal interests. That's what's been happening down in that region for 100 years now. I think Mike Pompeo is trying to perpetuate it because he has no business down there. Okay. And if you look at the behavior of the PPP who he works with, they're playing games with extradition. They're out here abusing their authority. They're corrupt as I don't know what. What's Mike Pompeo doing with those guys? They're corrupt, very corrupt. Why is he partnered with them? Why is it that so many people in that country are like hurting horribly and nothing seems to happen? Yet Mike Pompeo's there all the time, it seems. What's that about? To me, it just seems like he's there to undermine the Trump administration, and he's there to undermine what Marco Rubio is trying to put out. Because we don't need a guy like Mike Pompeo having a personal agenda in countries like Guyana. Let our State Department do that. Let Marco Rubio, that ain't you, bro. Step aside. Let our State Department do its job. Let the White House do its job. What are you doing there? So that's where we are today, and here's the problem. So we have this, the Trump administration comes in, they get rid of Maduro, they chase the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians out. And so what we have now are deep state people in the United States, people who are powerful people. They're trying to, under the dark of night, undo what the Trump administration is doing. They want to keep in place the havoc, the chaos. They want more Hades. And the way you get that is you don't have a White House or a State Department running policy in the region. No, you have them outsource it out to the Mike Pompeos of the world. So that's where we're at today, where you have Marco Rubio and the State Department pushing, saying, hey, man, we're trying to find common ground with you guys. And then you've got people like the PPP, Barack Jagdeo, Irfan Ali, and they're working backdoor with Mike Pompeo. And who knows what he's having them do. I promise you it's not what the State Department wants. It's not. And so that's where we're at today. And that's where I think people need to realize that it's a positive in the region to be working with our State Department and our different government officials. It is to your detriment to be working with people like Mike Pompeo in the private sector. It's to your detriment, especially these guys who used to have high level roles in the government here in the United States. Because what we call that here is revolving door. They get this high level position in government, then they go in the private sector and they leverage their previous government work to enrich the private sector stuff. And then they take that and they jump back into government again. And so if you're a guy like Mike Pompeo, if you're looking at it, he's a revolving door guy. So why is he focused on Guyana? Probably because he wants to get enough access to enough cash to run for president. Because he's so high level, if he's getting back in the government, how's he going to do it as president? If you're going to do that, you need a lot of cash. So he's probably doing all this stuff in Guyana because he has aspirations. He wants to run for president. And I'm telling you, that has nothing to do with US policy in the region. And so we've got a conflict here. And there are other conflicts around the region like this, where we've got these powerful former government officials rolling in, doing what they want to do, as opposed to what the State Department and the White House want. And then we have leaders in these countries who think they're slick. And they think, oh, you know what? Don't worry, administrations come and go. We'll partner with the Mike Pompeos of the world and we'll just see it through. But that's a mistake, guys. And here's why it's a mistake. Because previous administrations have ignored the region. This administration hasn't. And the next administration that comes in is not going to ignore the region. It's over. So whatever the deep state guys are doing, whatever these shadow players are doing, the game is over. People, even Trump's enemies, even people who don't like the capitalists in the region, have realized, oh, wait a minute, it's way smarter to be working diplomatic channels with official U.S. contacts rather than to do this under the radar bull crap with the revolving door people, with the deep state people. People are starting to figure it out. All right. So that's where we're at now. So when Marco Rubio says, hey, we're here to try to find common ground, what he's saying is, hey, we're getting rid of how we've been outsourcing our policy in the region. We are now hands-on. Now that we are hands-on, this is what our priorities as Americans. What are yours? And our priority, the first priority we have first and foremost is our security. That's the first and most important priority. Why? Because we know in the United States that if this region is secure, then the wealth will flow. Make no mistakes about it. If the Caribbean, Central and South America, if this area is secure and peaceful, the wealth is going to flow unfettered. What stops the wealth in the region is lacking security, lacking a coherent policy in the region. Right? So what Rubio is trying to do is say, hey, we have security issues. We want to partner with you guys on, because guess what? Every nation in Central and South America and the Caribbean, you all have security issues. That's a common issue, a common thread we can all agree upon. Let's try to secure all of our livelihoods, our communities, and our nations. Right? So that's first and foremost. And that alone actually fixes 99% of the problem in the region. I can just tell you now. Everything after the security part it could happen, it may not happen, but I can promise everyone who's watching this now, the number one thing that everyone will see is definitely security overlap between us and everyone in the region. We are going to be like this. And so what does that mean in the modern world? We're going to be sharing intelligence. We're going to be going on missions together to interdict packages of drugs coming through the Caribbean, et cetera, et cetera. This is where we're headed to. And the question is can the people in the region see the changes happened, see that there's an opportunity now to partner with the U.S. government for the first time in like 100 years. Trust me when I tell you guys, people can think back and say, yeah, we partner with the U.S. government. You never have. Every time you guys have partnered with the U.S. government, it's been outsourced. It's been some chieftain within the administrative state who's really been running things and not an elected official. I'm telling you, you guys think you have not. We are finally at the point where everyone in the region now is going to be dealing with our elected officials. We're finally there. Okay. And now that we're there, this is a key. This is a turning point. Everyone needs to recognize that this is a turning point. That now the people of the Caribbean, Central and South America, you guys are directly accessing our government above the water level, above the water line, up here where everyone can see now. Up to this point, it's been below the water line. We're now above the water line. This is all, it's like what you read in books, what you see in movies. This is the real deal now. And I'm emphasizing this because there's a huge opportunity here. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for everyone in the region, because this window will stay open just for so long, because there are people like Mike Pompeo who will close this window. They do not want U.S. government from the top, our elected officials running things for us together with your elected officials. No, no, no. What they want is for you guys to have your wealthy businessmen work with our administrators and our businesses to cut deals so that they can all benefit and you guys get screwed and we get screwed. That's what they've been doing all this time. And they don't want to let it go. So that's why people like me get a lot of pushback, because I know exactly what they're trying to do. I know that times are changing, and we're finally as Americans paying attention to this region the way we should. And there are people here who do not want this to happen. They want to keep it the way it's been for 100 years, and it's not right. And so it's going to take from the people in these different, it's going to take a leap of faith from you guys. It's going to take for the silent majority, and for even people who doubt, it's going to take for you guys to take a leap of faith and say, hey, you know what? Let's try on a new foot with America here. It's going to take a leap of faith. But I think if people can make that leap of faith, okay, I think if we look back 20 years from now and most of the region took that leap of faith and say, hey, let's just try to partner with Americans. Let's see if it's different this time. I think if you do it 20 years from now, you're going to be very happy. But if you don't take that leap of faith, you're going to be locked back into the Mike Pompeo deep state stuff, which is going to lead to Haiti. I'm sorry. That's just kind of the road you guys got now. So you got to kind of make a choice. Marco Rubio and Donald Trump, or Mike Pompeo if you're in Guyana. You got to kind of make that choice. If you're in Trinidad, are you going to go with Chevron and Exxon? Or are you going to deal with the American elected officials in the State Department and the embassy? That's what we're hitting now. That's where we're at now. The private sector guys, the deep state guys, they don't want elected officials working with elected officials in this region. They don't want that. So it's time for the people in the region to realize and understand. I'm telling you here as government watchdog, this is what's key. You got to get your elected officials working with our elected officials now. Rubio has opened the door. The Trump administration has opened the door for this type of interaction. It's not your businesses interacting with our elected officials. That's bad. What you want is your elected officials interacting with our elected officials. It's that time. It's that time. Rubio's opened the door. Everybody needs to jump through it. Whatever you think about America, whatever you think of Rubio or Trump, it doesn't matter. A door has been opened. It's time to jump through. All of your elected officials need to be working with our elected officials. And if it's not like that, if your elected officials are working with our businesses, oh, be scared, be worried. Okay. If your business people are working with our elected, oh, be worried. They shouldn't be working with our elected officials. It should be elected officials with elected officials. That's how it should look. And we should be seeing more of this going forward if people in the region, if your nations are doing what they need to be doing, and if our government is doing what we need to be doing. So that's what I'm going to be having an eye on, is to see, is that interaction happening? Because up until now, it has not been happening. It's been our businesses with your elected officials, your businesses with our elected officials, or our deep state with your spies or whatever you want to call it, but it's rarely been elected official and elected official. And that's what we need to be pushing for. And that's the door Rubio opened, and that's where we need to go. So with that said, guys, keep an eye on this. Thanks again for joining. I appreciate it. All the shares and likes, all the subscribes, it's a big deal. I'm glad. But I just think these conversations need to continue because this is where it needs to be at for us to get to that place where we all should be as a region. So have a great day, guys. Have a great Monday. I will see you tomorrow. Love you all. Take care.
Now I'ma put it down like that. I'm leaving, I ain't coming back. You don't like the way I act anyway. You really don't have to react. Don't try to change my mind, in fact. Honey, I've already packed all my stuff. We're no longer kids, let's move on. And you are not my kid, so I'm done. Please don't make me pull my gun. Sorry boy, I can't be the one. You know it, yeah. Nothing lasts forever. You know that a change will make it better. You know that nothing lasts forever. You know that, yeah, change will make it better. There's no one to blame, you see. Maybe we're not meant to be. There are plenty more fish in the sea anyway. Every day's a different thing, so I'm not into wedding rings. It ain't personal, it's the way I think, yeah. You know it, nothing lasts forever. And you know